Heterodox Views of Money and Modern Monetary Theory, MMT, by Phil Armstrong. Introduction. My aims in this paper are, firstly, to establish if confidence in credit and state theories of money is based more securely on the available evidence than the neoclassical alternative, and, secondly, to assess the extent to which modern monetary theory, MMT, can be seen as a theoretical framework which is entirely consistent with credit and state theories of money. Thirdly, I attempt to demonstrate how MMT provides an explanation of how a real-world monetary economy works. In doing so, I will suggest that MMT opens up the possibility of producing a model of the monetary system built on the existence of a core or operational reality, and that this model provides valuable insights which are absent in alternative approaches. In neoclassical economics, money is seen as a facilitator or lubricant, which allows for efficient exchange. It is the oil in the engine rather than the fuel. Neoclassical economists find little or no comfort from a study of the historical development of money. They see the actual history of money as a nuance and potential source of time wasting at best, an unnecessary and unjustified descent at worst. When forced to consider the history of money, the usual response is to produce a plausible story for the development of money based around its supposed appearance as a cost-saving alternative to barter. I rather like Kevin Dowd's phrase, conjectural history. It doesn't really matter if the conjectural history is totally different from actual history. All that is necessary is the plausibility of the story. A conjectural history provides a benchmark to assess the world we live in, but it is important to appreciate that it is not meant to provide an accurate description of how the world actually evolved. Emphasis in original. The conjectural history is a useful myth, and it is no criticism of a conjectural history to say that the world failed to evolve in the way it postulates. In other words, it was as if the world developed this way, and we need to immunize our history against any contradictory evidence. One of my favorite cliches is, never let the facts get in the way of a good story. For neoclassical economists, the conjectural history serves a very useful purpose. It supports their ethics. It is most helpful to specify a system where money developed as a natural response to changing circumstances by individuals maximizing expected utility. Neoclassical theorists contend that money is merely a veil. Its introduction into a barter economy improves efficiency but leaves quantities produced and relative prices unchanged. I am not suggesting that money always only plays the role of medium of exchange in orthodox theory. Rather, that it is this function which gives money its distinctive character. It's important as a unit of account and store of value, although acknowledged in established theory, is not stressed. This is in marked contrast to heterodox views. According to the neoclassical view, there is no role for the state in the genesis of money. The state is seen as a late arrival on the scene and a corrupting force, taking an unjustified share of national wealth by exercising control of the monetary system, which had developed from the actions of individuals rightly pursuing optimizing behavior. Conjectural histories have been around for a long time, and although there is some variation in the story, they tend to follow a similar pattern. Ray considers, justifiably, that a succinct analysis of early conjectural histories can be found in Mitchell-Innes, 1913. Before providing a thorough critique of the story, Mitchell-Innes provides an excellent summary. According to Innes, the story goes as follows. In primitive economies, exchange was based on barter, but as societies developed, efficiency was improved by the introduction of one commodity as a means of exchange. This commodity also served as a unit of value. A wide range of different commodities have been used in different societies at different times, but eventually all roads tended to lead to precious metals as the most efficient variant. A fixed quantity of a metal, typically gold or silver, of known purity became a standard of value, and this standard should have been guaranteed by rulers. However, when the authorities took control of the system, they exploited it to their own ends by debasing the currency. Eventually, credit was introduced as a substitute for gold, requiring less direct use of metal and improving efficiency. Unfortunately, I feel it is sometimes necessary to spoil a good story and attempt to discover the real story. We may never know the full story of the development of money, but surely we can at least tentatively suggest a history based on the evidence available. In this sense, I believe credit and state theories are superior to the good story. They may not be popular with the advocates of laissez-faire capitalism, but they do appeal to those with an inquiring mind who would like to find out more about the actual history of money. David Graeber describes the situation eloquently. In fact, our standard account of monetary history is precisely backwards. We did not begin with barter, discover money, and eventually develop credit systems. It happened precisely the other way around. What we now call virtual money came first. Coins came much later, and their use spread only unevenly, never completely replacing credit systems. Barter, in turn, appears to be largely a kind of accidental byproduct of the usage of coinage. Historically, it has mainly been what people who are used to cash transactions do when, for one reason or another, they have no access to currency.